I've been around, and I've managed to pick up a lot of investment potential so that is around the world. And one will try and shop around and look for business people who can be able to assist. As we all know, the socio-economic standards that we live in particular around Soweto and in the world itself. Maybe to just give a brief background about the award. The award encompasses a little bit of small allocations. The first one will be where we are, which is Tablane. And there's Tablane Hostel as well. There's a little bit touch of Central Western Joburg. There's also White City, a part of it. There's Molabo, which is part of it as well. And there's Rockville, which is also part of it. The only location which is around, it's fully so, it's Moroga North. So all of those areas have been surrounded by the prison. There's huge development around the area. If maybe not most of us would walk out, there's a bridge that is connecting Molabo to Tablane Mall. There's a Soweto theater is also here. There's Pegilang and Hospital, which is also here. There's a number of developments around housing. There's Amafuleti, which are new. There's also the RTP ones. They're all within the ward. But then, when I walk around, I saw the potential of the area being highly in need of development, as it is a center of business. In fact, we are situated right in the center of Soweto. And it's accessible in terms of the transport, all other fields. Whether you're coming from Protea, Bara, Dobsonville, mostly it's one taxi, you can be able to reach this area. But then, my greatest concern is our communities. That most of them, they went to school, but they did not, there is nothing moving. They can't go finish up studies. Mostly they would want that maybe to work in shopping centers and the surrounding businesses. Mostly of the businesses that are around the area happens to be foreign nations, and which is a great concern. There's about 7 of the historical shops that we all know, but mostly they have been occupied by foreign nations. So investment is highly needed within the area. As I was saying, I'm engaging and requesting for investors, in particular the departments which are in economic development, to really look into the investment around this area, as it's a cream of the Soweto. I know there's a lot of us who have attended today's session, but mine was just to say, you are most welcome. The departments which are here, the office of the director, and everyone. I also see my comrades who are here. Comrades, please let us contribute positively so for the benefit of our people. And let's request the businesses to come and invest. Today we're sharing a G20 sitting within each one step, and which I think is a big milestone for, in particular, Jablan to be on the map. So this is the platform that will create that all of that must be possible. My name is Lucas Tifuto. I am the ward councillor for Ward 34. I would like to welcome everyone, and in particular participation and investment at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, Councillor. I am going to ask our representative from the Regional Director's Office, Mr. Papi, who is going to give us an overview of the region. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, and much appreciated for the moment given. My name is Papi Macmillan Deleko. I'm the Deputy Director from the region, which is CAM. Pardon me for not standing up. I took note that the 4 speakers, they were standing up, and I know that from this chamber, when you stand up, you get to be far away from the mic. So, me not standing is not disrespect, but it's for me to be more audible. I hope the House will accept that. As I said, my name is Papi Macmillan Deleko. I'm a Deputy Director in the region. Soweto and the broader region D of the city of Johannesburg stand as a powerful symbol of South Africa's journey. Its struggles, triumphs, and enduring spirit of community. Born from forced removals and spatial segregation of the 20th century, Soweto evolved from a marginalized settlement into one of the most culturally vibrant and politically significant urban areas in the world. It is a place where history is not only remembered, but lived daily in the rhythm of the streets, the warmth of its people, and the determination of its youth. Region D, which encompasses Soweto and its surrounding areas, reflects both the challenges and the immense potential of a modern African metropolis. The region is rich with cultural heritage, economic possibilities, which is why we are here today, the social dynamism also. It is home to iconic landmarks such as Vilakazi Street, the Hector Peterson Memorial, and the Sophie Theatre, each representing a layer of the community's stories, from resistance and resilience to creative and renewal. Today, Region D stands at the intersection of legacy and progress, where we say that history and today what's happening. Its community continue to push forward, shaping Johannesburg identity through innovation, entrepreneurship, and an unshakable sense of unity. This is when I say that with Soweto you have a situation of Soweto determining South Africa, Johannesburg, Gauteng, and South Africa as a whole, because of the history that Soweto has. The transformation underway in this region is a testament to the power of collective will and reminder of how local stories influence the national narrative. I come before you on behalf of the Regional Director, in absentia Tate Justice Ngalonkulu, and the Councillor has indeed welcomed us, but I need to make acknowledgement, Councillor, of the people that have made us to be here today, which in absentia Tate Matapane Masha, who is the Executive Director of DED, and sitting next to me, Kinaleme Asisi Komandaza from GGDA, which I'm also acknowledging, Ntate Papedi Pokupia, who is standing in today on behalf of the Executive Director, and Me Amukelani Kubai, who's leading us today for the day. And surely one cannot forget the business community of Soweto, which is yourselves, and importantly, the residents of Soweto who make our daily lives in Soweto to become oiled the machinery of Soweto becomes oiled because of their presence in Soweto. So with that, I was not welcoming because of the councillor has done the welcoming, but I'm just acknowledging councillor and yourself as the #1 citizen of Ward 34. Colleagues, we cannot run away that Soweto is a big space in terms of population. Soweto, from our stats, we are around 1.8 from the stats. But from the unofficial stats, which speaks to your cousin who's from Zimbabwe, who's from Lesotho, Malawi, that are sitting in our bedrooms, they've inflated us to be around 2.5, 2.6 million. That is how big Soweto it is. And surely we know that with business, when you see people, you see business. That's why we are here today. And we cannot be in a position of leaving Soweto to just run its own. But it must be properly controlled, it must be properly nurtured, and systems must be put into place. The question becomes, who am I to speak of this? I'm from a department in the city of Johannesburg called CRAM. And CRAM in Region D, ours is to simply to monitor and coordinate service delivery in the region. Service delivery, we mean everything, because of on its own, this city becomes a service delivery to the residents of Soweto. That is why we become part of this sitting as CRAM, as the #1 department in the region that comes in to assist. Soweto has your own landmarks that encompasses a very rich history. As you enter Soweto from the southern part, you surely come across the first big place, which becomes our Bara Hospital, Chris Hani Hospital. And it is the biggest hospital in the world, not in the world, but in Africa for that matter. But the question is that, are we using that legacy of it being the biggest in Africa correctly? And this is where business comes into space to say, what is it that we identify into that space to ensure that it does not lose its significance of becoming the most prestigious and biggest in Africa? We've innovated. Now, if we don't keep on innovating on whatever that we have done, others will do that better than us, because of the land that we could have built a bigger one and they'll make it better. So it's for us as Soweto to ensure that it becomes better. And that can only happen through government in partnership with private sector. And once we do that correctly, we'll surely ensure that your Bara Hospital becomes the best in Africa and it maintains that. And as you come through your Chris Hani Road, our biggest mall, Maponya Mall, being one of our landmarks in the space. And there's no one who's up from outside of Soweto who doesn't want to go in and see Maponya Mall. Everyone wants to go in there and see, what is this Maponya Mall about? That big elephant, they take pictures. But it means people from outside, they get to appreciate it more than we do. I don't have a picture of myself standing at that elephant, but I can tell you, all my cousins that are outside of the province, when they come here, they want to take those pictures. It means there is that significance that we need to identify, enhance, and see how we can use it better as a business into that space. And we need not to leave it. You have your Regina Moon Church, which becomes part of our history, that has shaped the history of not only Soweto, but of South Africa as a whole. So we are saying these are things that are in our midst in Soweto, that are there, but they're not given that opportunity to still shine like they used to shine. Let's identify those things and ensure that we bring them into the limelight as they are supposed to be in our country. We have other malls, obviously, but when you come through Oma Road and Bolan. We have our Sophie Theatre. Previously, we used to have your theatres in Soweto, but now we have the state-of-the-art. We have a state-of-the-art theatre. Question becomes, are we using it correctly? Are we using it enough? Are we injecting enough money into it to ensure that it gives us what we want as the people of Soweto? The place that gets to take place in that space, are we the ones that are also influencing the type of place that must be there? Are we giving it proper revenue for it to still exist in the coming 10, 20 years? So I'm raising these things to yourself to say, Soweto has this great potential, but because of we do not want to tap in it, what tends to happen is that people from outside of Soweto are the ones that tap into the market of Soweto, where else business people like yourselves are here. It's time to claim your space and ensure that it becomes a success. And in claiming that space, number one that I always say it's important, quality goods, quality services. If we can be able to do those things, then surely it's even easier to take your business outside of Soweto, because of now it's trusted enough to ensure that it can be delivered to the world. And we want that situation of saying, Tshepo from Kotladi in Soweto grew from a business in Soweto, took it to the province level, took it to national level, and even take it out of Soweto. Then we can say, that is our product in Soweto. That's what we wish for. But these things are things that can happen when yourselves as business community and government find each other. And opportunities that are there, they must be used correctly. It must not be opportunities that are going to only empower our people just for a short term, but we must find ways of how to ensure, council, that these opportunities, they make our people to have sustainable businesses in our spaces. That is one of the things that as the region would wish to see in the space. And equally have a situation of the economy of Soweto before it leaves. Someone was giving a history or a background of what happens in Fortsburg, saying that that rent in Fortsburg, before it goes out of Fortsburg, it rotates 14 times inside Fortsburg. 14 times. So you can imagine that how many people it has empowered into that space. Question becomes, how many times our rent in Soweto rotate? Because of once it rotates as many times as possible, it makes my life easier to say service delivery, resources will be there. And that's what we want. So we are requesting to yourself to say, come in, work with government in the region, but led by DED, to ensure that we get to have a Soweto that's functional. The portals that are there, if we do not have money as a city, it becomes difficult for us to close those portals. It becomes difficult for your own goods in the space to travel. So we want to have that situation of how do we make this chain to work better for building Soweto to be a better Soweto. Program Director, let me be short because I can speak way too much. Thank you, Program Director.
Thank you so much for that detailed presentation on the overview of the region that is hosting us today. And we really appreciate it. I think you are touching on what is also very critical to us as the department. At the forefront, we're talking economic growth as well as sustainability. Colleagues, I just want to highlight, maybe at the back of your mind, just the purpose of why we are here, but our representative of the executive director will get to that. But I just want you to keep it at the back of your minds that we are here to listen as the department. We are here to learn from yourselves as business, but we also want to collaborate So as the presentations and the discussions are ongoing, maybe think about some of those projects that you would like to implement in partnership with ourselves as the department so that we can assist in terms of the growing of our economy. Without any waste of time, I am going to request Mr. Papedi Pukubze, who is the Chief Economist within the Department of Economic Development. He is going to give us a presentation on the work that the department is doing, as well as the support that is available for yourselves as business. Can we give him a round of applause?
Presentation.
DED. Sorry.
It's not moving.
No, it's fine. He'll use this one.
Okay. Morning. Okay. Morning, Councillor. Morning, business community and government officials. I also would like to apologize for not standing up, because in my previous life I was in your seat, but I can tell you now the seat is very hot. I know how difficult business is, and I can tell you the things you get for free are the most expensive. You have to push every day and keep on thinking. So I have a lot of respect for you guys. So my name is Masite. I'm standing in for the ED, and I'm not going to repeat why we are here, because we are here because of you. We want to understand the kind of challenges that you are experiencing, and you know how to solve them. We may be delaying one way or the other, and we may be trying to work with you and not focus at some point, but this forum is more about saying we are here for you. We want to create an environment from which we'll be continuously working together for the improvement of the city, especially Region D. So if I'm to give you just a background of the economy and the challenges that we are experiencing. As you would know, the biggest problem that we have, we may talk about a lot of challenges that we're experiencing, but from my end, the biggest problem that we have is your contribution of your gross fiscal capital formation, your investment to the GDP is very low, and that's why the economy is not growing. So from a strategic point of view, as you would know, I mean, if you look at China in terms of their investment, it's a percentage of the GDP is about 41%, and America is 21%, but South Africa is 14%, City of Johannesburg is 13%. So you could tell that no amount of effort will grow the economy up until there's financial resources and backed by human resources. So that's what I wanted to indicate before I start the presentation. So this slide it will give us an indication of what we do, economic development, and we are in the process of developing an economic growth strategy for the City of Johannesburg, and also the importance of retention, why we are here, why do we want to talk to business in terms of retention and aftercare. So it's just a glimpse of what the presentation is all about. So the Department of Economic Development is more about facilitating economic development, and which will lead to job creation. So what it means is we are basically trying to, in short, to create a good environment for business to operate. Because I always say, although there will be arguments that there is no economy that will operate without business, it's impossible. There is no municipality that can operate without business, it's impossible. There is no NGO that can operate without business, it's impossible. So if the government ignores business, they are ignoring themselves. So it will become a deteriorating path in terms of growth. So we facilitate economic development through different channels. So I think it just moved through, because I just wanted to give them a summary of what we do, and also how we are structured as the department to deliver on economic growth as Department of Economic Development. Can you go down? Yeah, these are the departments within our DED. We've got sustainable economic facilitation. Is more about focusing on informal trading. SME development cooperatives, and we've got your integrated regional economic development. So in connection with CRAM, those are the guys who would identify challenges that are experienced by businesses within the region, and they package them and try to intervene to try and unblock those bottlenecks that the businesses are experiencing. And then we've got economic development policy and planning. It's a point of convergence in terms of economic research, where we generate information or economic data to assist the city in decision-making processes. And we have your trade and investment, which is responsible for attraction, for retention and aftercare, and also for export promotion. And we've got economic development facilitation, which is our conduit for stakeholder engagements and also resource mobilization. So this is how we approach economic development within the city of Johannesburg. Next slide. Okay. I think this slide is very important because it talks to the priority sectors that have been identified from the economic growth strategy. So we requested the service provider to identify 3. They were too happy and too excited, and they identified 10. So for each and every sector, they identified your opportunities and the interventions. So we'll be able to provide all the documentation as we are busy refining the strategy, so that you go through each and every sector and all the opportunities and the interventions. So I think it's a very interesting strategy, one that has never been done the way it has been done, because what we decided to do was to, after completion of the strategy, we will be packaging programs for funding purposes. So we are going to engage development finance institutions to come on board, so that we are able to sell those projects to the market for funding purposes. So we have also identified the drivers. As you do the strategy, you do your consultations. So we spoke to business, we spoke to councillors, we spoke to government officials. So the drivers are some of the programs that are cross-cutting, that should not be ignored when you develop a strategy. The next one. Okay, this is the strategic framework, which is framed more around innovation and sustainability. Sustainability meaning incorporating social, economic, and environmental. So the strategy has about 5 pillars. So enabling an environment which talks to an acknowledgement that there is no pillar that will operate without the fundamental activities around the enabling environment. And also we have the nodal development, which basically says we are not only looking at the city from a holistic point of view, we'll be looking at it from a customization point of view. There are certain regions that have different characters, then they will be approached as such. And we have the cluster development. This is how now we clustered according to the sectors. We've got technology and advanced manufacturing, we've green economy, we've got urban revitalization. So those are some of the sectors that we have looked at, high growth sectors, as opposed to looking at your traditional tourism and agricultural sectors. And we also look at your linkages, where we are linking people with opportunities, and also looking at your peripheral township economies linked to your social sides, such as your housing and healthcare. So I was also, okay, let me finish the strategic framework. We also looked at your economic, inclusive economy. So what it basically means is the last pillar, it must be ensured that it benefits from each and every pillar, because it looks at your informal trading, SMEs, and all those kind of, all the other elements. And at the bottom, these are those drivers, the cross-cutting drivers that I spoke about, that we can grow the economy without compromising an objective to innovation and sustainability. So these are I don't think I should go through this. These are the challenges, the strengths, weaknesses, and the opportunities, threats that the cities experience, which I'm sure you are familiar with. So what I wanted before I get to the trade and investment mandate, I wanted to pick to what Mr. Papi was saying about the hospital, the Christian Baragwanath Hospital, in terms of opportunities. So in one of the interventions that we have come up come up with in the economic growth strategy is medical tourism. So medical tourism, as you know, you'll have a lot of people from outside South Africa going to Turkey, going to China, going to India. India is more popular. And after going to India, you know, there will be your post-operative care, there will be your safaris. And so in India, basically, there's nothing. It's just temples. Just imagine if they are attracted in South Africa, how many amenities do we have as South Africans? I think those are some of the opportunities that we've crafted as your long-term opportunities that the city can try and take advantage of. So from the trade, why we are here, trade and investment mandate, this is what the unit does. We promote the city as a preferred investment destination to facilitate investment through your fast-tracking and prioritization committee. That's where big programs are now prioritized to try and fast-track your economic growth. And support for business retention, expansion, and aftercare. This is what we are doing. When we are talking to you, we would like to know and understand what challenges are you experiencing so that we hear firsthand, so that the kind of interventions that we put together are aligned to your thinking. So drive inclusive growth, transformation, and through partnerships, very important, partnerships that are sustainable so that we know and also account for an element of responsibility. You can move. So why BRIA is important? Obviously, already existing businesses, I mean, they create jobs. It's easy they're easy to support as opposed to attracting new investment and the kind of processes that you go through when you are embarking on attracting new investment. So it's important for us to listen to what you're saying so that we are able to support you and so that you grow further to improve the economy of the city of Johannesburg, of Gauteng, and of South Africa. So this presentation talks to why are we meeting the business community. Because what we want to achieve is to try and intervene strategically in businesses and target all the regions. I mean, without compromising an objective to that exclusivity per region. We know all the regions are not the same. Each region has its own character. So it's important for us to try and customize some of the interventions. For example, in the strategy, we discovered that the agricultural sector and agro-processing sector is more dominant in region A and region C. So some of the interventions that will be crafted will be around those areas from an agricultural point of view. So a lot of interventions have been identified as I indicated there. So we're trying to customize and ensure that we talk to the realities on the ground. Forge partnerships, we can never ever move away from that, because if we do that, we are basically saying these are the opportunities that we can collectively identify, and the city will come in terms of how we should be supporting businesses. So yes, we are here because we would like businesses collectively to identify challenges, to resolve service bottlenecks, to support retention and expansion, to establish steering committees, and to strengthen engagements. So the expected outcome. So if I'm going to go back to my initial comments, especially in terms of what are we trying to address here. The expected outcome talks to the output gap. There is an output gap here. We know we had industrial parks, they are not working. We know we had businesses, they are no longer working. We've got exodus of businesses leaving the city, so they leave that gap. So we need to fill in that gap. These are some of the expected outcomes that will be covered under that output gap. So as you know, there is no way that we would grow if we are growing. If you look at, your growth projection from 2000 to 2008, South Africa was growing by 5.4%. You can imagine what the city of Johannesburg was growing by. From 2008 to 2024, the economy was growing by 1.2%. So it shows that gap, because the city of Johannesburg has the capacity to grow by 6-7%. So that gap needs to be filled by businesses through partnerships. So in terms of program rollout, how we would like to engage going forward, so we will be able to craft your regional models where we work together to sort out all the challenges that are experienced, And this approach will be it will be a cluster approach, which will be talking to specific businesses that are operating within the region, and data-driven tracking. We are not going to thumbsuck, so we'll be use scientific data to be working together, and we'll have quarterly reviews. This is basically why we are here. We are here to talk to you, to hear what your challenges are, so that we create forums that will be reporting on a quarterly basis, so that we see that there's progress. So some of the available support that the city has is your investment, the committee that I spoke about in terms of identifying programs that will make an impact in terms of job creation and investment. We also have rebates and tax incentives where you are trying to develop within a particular node, then you'll have all those rebates for a certain period of time. And we've got retention and aftercare services, site or facility visits, aftercare visits, letters of support to investors, and ongoing investor outreach programs. So we also work with JBF, especially in terms of the kind of challenges that they are experiencing and how we unlock them, and also advocacy issues are taken into account. So to indicate that we are ready to partner vertically and horizontally, there are presidential working groups that are also formed to try and work together to address the issues that the city is experiencing. I am sure that everyone has that sense of positivity now, that PPP approach is now emerging. So if we hold on to that and try to hold people accountable, especially government, then I think we'll go far. Thank you very much. So these are some of the partners that we're working with the city. And just to indicate an element of partnership, we as the Department of Economic Development, we requested a list of programs within the city, and we are facilitating funding from different development finance institutions, which means one of the outcomes of this forum may be that can we come up with programs that are worth funding. Not only are you looking at priority sectors within the city, but also superimposing it with the requirements from development finance institutions so that they're easy to fund. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that detailed presentation. And I'm sure we can all agree that there are a lot of opportunities for yourselves as businesses. There are a lot of areas where you can partner with the city so that we advance the economy of the city. What I was saying yesterday in the session that we had in Region C was that, if you can go to that previous slide, please. It will be great if at the next engagement, as he mentioned, that the idea is to launch this so that we can meet on a quarterly basis with businesses, so that we can track what are some of the issues that were identified, how far are we, what are the projects that were also identified in terms of implementation. And I was just saying it will be great if some of your companies can also be highlighted at the next session, so that you can be recognized as one of the partners that have decided to work hand in hand with the city. Without any waste of time, ladies and gentlemen, we will move to the next item. We are going to call Ms. Asisipo Mandanza. She's the manager responsible for business retention at the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency. And the reason why we included them as part of the program is because we want to highlight that as the city, we are dependent on partnerships in order for us to execute the task that we are trying to achieve as the Department of Economic Growth. So with that said, can we give her a round of applause as she takes the program?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Abu. My name is Asisipo Mandanza from the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency under the unit called Trade, Investment and Regulatory Enablement. Just as a show of hands, I just want to understand who's in the room. If you could just lift up your hands if you are business owners or you're running businesses or involved in business anyway. Okay. Thank you so much. That just gives me an idea who I'm speaking to so that I'm able to dwell in more, because my presentation is more aimed at businesses and the support that we provide. I know it sounds big, but we're in the business of doing economic development activities for the Gauteng province. We do aim at being a catalyst for innovative and sustainable growth, as well as socio-economic development within the Southern African region. So we just don't position ourselves as Gauteng, we position ourselves as the gateway to Africa. As you might know, that when businesses come into South Africa, they ideally would want to come in and set up in Johannesburg. Mainly because of the population that we have. We've got one of the biggest GDPs in the country, as well as in Africa, as well as we are a hub in terms of your logistics, as well as your manufacturing. So we've got it all. We've got the services sector, we've got the talent pool. So when businesses come, they come to set up in Gauteng because of that. That is what is attracting them to come here. In the former days, we used to be called JEDA, for those that have been here long enough, which was established in 1996. And over the years, we merged with Blue IQ, which was quite active in terms of infrastructure development. If you're looking at different projects such as your Gautrain, before it was a standalone entity, that's what Blue IQ was. So within the GGDA, we focus on two core things that are our core, besides the business intelligence and research unit, which just drives us with economic data for the decisions that we take. But we focus on attracting investments into the province. So we work with international businesses that want to come in and set up. Some of them we do attract on our own. Some of them have got an interest into South Africa, and then they just decide to come, and then we work with facilitating that. We also work with domestic investments. By domestic, we mean businesses that are moving from provinces within South Africa, but coming in to set up into Gauteng. We help them with that. Then also, there's also a separate unit which deals with economic infrastructure. Those are the ones that work on infrastructure projects where they look into transformation as well as reindustrialization in Gauteng, so they do your infrastructure projects. I'm from the trade and investment unit, where we focus mostly on investment attraction, retention, as well as trade promotion. I'll get into details about what we do when we do that. Just to understand the GGDA in a broader group, so within the GGDA group, there's other subsidiaries. Some of you might know them, some you might not know, but just to give a context, we've got the AIDC, which is based in Roslyn. That is your automotive supplier part. Those ones deal with the auto sector, they deal with auto components, they do with skills development, especially focusing on diesel manufacturing, like, you know, those soft skills that your auto sector does. So they do a lot of trainings on that. They work a lot with the auto components manufacturers that are within, as well as your big OEMs like your Ford, BMW. They work with that, developing the auto sector. We've got your GIDZ, which is based in OR Tambo, which is an SEZ. They focus on bringing in business that want to come in and be set up in an SEZ, just to tap into the incentives that are provided if you are, if your business is located within an SEZ. Those are based in the OR Tambo side, but that's an entity of the GGDA. And then you've got your innovation hub. They look into more on science and technology park. If you're looking into innovative ideas, you do not need, for you to tap into these entities, you do not need to be particularly based in those where they are established. But so long you're a Gauteng-based business, you can tap into what the TIH as well as the AIDC offer. So they play a role in terms of developing innovative ideas, as well as just to drive knowledge economy, to drive ideas that come, that are innovative for businesses. And then you've got your Cornhill, which is more of a heritage site within the inner city. So I'll talk more about what we do at the Trade, Investment and Regulatory Enablement Unit. We call it DIRE in short. We've got 4 focus areas, which I'll just talk about. We've got the investment promotion as well as your investment development. Those are the ones that work from an initial stage. So if there is an investor that is looking into coming and setting up in the city of Joburg area, they track those leads. They also promote Gauteng as a viable investment destination, meaning they go out to market and then they promote. It could be whatever sector that, there's a slide that deals with the sector focus, so they will promote and say, if you come in and set up in Soweto, this is what Soweto has to offer, this is the talent pool, this is the sectors that are thriving in Soweto, and these are platforms that are available for you to, if you want to link up with businesses in that area. So that's what they do, they identify opportunities and then they promote that. They also engage a lot with foreign ministers. We host a lot of delegations that come in into the province, and then we just speak about what we have to offer as the province. Then you've got the team that does investment facilitation. So if an investor, I'll make an example, if you're having an investor like Amazon, we know there was also now recent news like Walmart coming in to set up, if you're looking at Leroy Merlin, when they were coming in various sectors, when if you're looking into infrastructure, if you're looking at like, you look at the likes of Microsoft, I'll just show a slide about the businesses that we work with. So if they're coming into, to set up into the province, that team helps them with giving them services that investors would be looking at. Mostly they're looking into land. Some might not know where to set up. And land is not just a matter of them identifying land that is available, it's also, there's a whole value chain of information that determines where they get to set up, looking at the talent pool. So we help them with that. We help them with approvals. If they're looking for approvals, that might be sector specific. It depends what they're doing. Some might be in the manufacturing sector, some might be services, some might be, it depends, manufacturing is quite broad, it could be steel, it could be agro processing. So depending on what they're coming in here to do, then we help them with guiding them with the relevant support. We also help them with linking them up with funders like your IDC, your DTRC, but just to be specific, you don't need to be an international investor for us to help you with that. If you already, even if you are a local company, local business, and you're looking into growing your business, or you're looking into understanding what incentives are available for you, if you're wanting to grow, what markets are available for you, the team is there to help you and guide you in that process. So it's not just only earmarked for international investors or international businesses, it's for businesses that are based in Gauteng. As well as we also advocate for an investor-friendly environment by just looking at the ease of doing business. There's many things that make businesses to pack up and go. Some sit within the local government sphere, which is your municipalities. Some are provincial, depending on the provinces and the situations there, and some of them are national. So it could be policies that are at a national level. So we play an advocacy role in terms of that. Then we've got a unit that does business retention, expansions, and aftercare. So once you are here, so the likes of you, you're already here, but you want to be retained, we look into matters that affect business. So we sit in a lot of these committees, because businesses, what they have done is that they've organized themselves. They've done committees whereby they can sit in as business and talk about matters that affect their business. So we are the voice between business as well as government. We sit into those committees to try to understand what are the pain points that businesses are affecting businesses, and then we work, because we are a government agency after all, so we then liaise with the relevant government agencies, whether it's the municipalities. That is what we do in terms of aftercare support. We also just promote expansions. If you're looking into growing your business, you're looking for land, you're looking for also finance for your business. Then for those that are looking into bringing in a skill set, we look at immigration support through our Investors Day office, which then has a VFS office within that. So that's what we provide you with, just to support you with your business. And if you're facing closure, and well as you understand, you want to know what support is there for your business, we help you with that. And then we've got the trade promotion unit. They play a role in terms of if you're looking to exports. I know that most businesses would ask if we do support you if you want to import. Unfortunately, we do not, because generally as South Africa, our support as business as well as government is aimed towards an export-driven economy. So we would provide more support if you are exporting than you are importing, but you find that these things are interlinked. If you want to export, mostly you might be importing your raw materials or whatever you might be needing for your companies, depending on what you are doing. So what this team does is that they help you with identifying markets for your business. There's a term that you cannot sell ice to an Eskimo. You can't be, you tell me you want to sell clothes to China. It would need to be something quite, I don't know, yeah, but that is their market strength. But there are things that we're quite good at as a country. I know if you're looking into the Western Cape, we're very good into in terms of winery, in terms of fruits. If you're looking into the Gauteng perspective, we've got things that are niche, that are ethnic, that people could do in terms of your crafts. Those who do well into your other markets. I'm just giving you an example to say they help you into looking at what your business has to offer and where you can take it to. We also promote a lot of intra-African trade, so we would say it's much better for you to send your things over to Namibia because you can hop on into, you can drive, it's next door, and it's easier for you to sort things out. So they help you with identifying right markets for your business. They help you with trainings for the export market. They help you also with research that is aimed at your export markets, as well as for you to understand the whole value chain, what incentives are available for exports, what markets are available for South African countries, what trade agreements to make use of, your SARS procedures. So that team is there to help you with that. That's what they offer to businesses in Gauteng. And then this is just the slide in terms of how we do it, but I've dwelt on that in terms of how we do it, the type of support we provide to businesses. So it's mostly the same, but it's just to dwell in more in terms of the support that we work. We quite focus in terms of improving our intergovernmental coordination because we realized that for you as a business, you're not just dealing with the city of Joburg, you're dealing with various moving elements that are key to your business, so we play a role in that. So in terms of focus, it doesn't mean that if your sector is not here, we do not deal with that sector, but we just say these are the key sectors that drive corridors in the greater Gauteng region. So you understand that Gauteng is divided into 5 corridors. Different corridors have got different streets and key sectoral focus into that those corridors. So if you're looking into the central corridor, which is where the city of Joburg is, you find that it's more bustling in terms of finance, your ICT, retail, and business services, as well as business tourism. So you find that people, when they want to come, they want to go to Sandton, there's also a lot of tourism that takes place, but it is business tourism. As well as pharmaceuticals, you get a lot of pharmaceutical companies that are situated here. So we play an advocacy role in terms of that. Then you look into the other sectors like your Tshwane, which is more an auto hub, as well as your BPO. You look into Western, which is your mining and mineral beneficiation. We understand that mining is one of those declining industry. So we're looking in terms of mineral beneficiation as well as agro-processing. And then your southern corridor, mostly agro-processing, as well as your logistics hub, where you can use that as a hub to move to the rest of the country, as well as to the neighboring countries. As well as Ekurhuleni. Ekurhuleni is quite manufacturing heavy. They focus more on manufacturing as well as your defense and aerospace. So these are the sectors that then we would go and say, if you want to come into Gauteng, we're promoting you to, these are the sectors that we're driving at. So you find that a lot of ICT companies would want to come into city of Joburg area, not because they cannot go to Tshwane, they can, but sometimes it's easier for businesses to be where the other businesses are, especially if they're in the same sector. And then we also look into special economic zones that we have as a province, but those also talk to the sector. So if you look into Tshwane, that is Kasset. We know that there's no special economic zone within the city of Joburg area, but there are various industrial spaces, industrial parks that we then work with just to develop those spaces and to bring in investors into those areas. Then I'm almost done with my presentation. The next slide just shows the partners that we work with. Some of these partners we've signed MOUs with. Some of them we just have a working relationship through our Investors Say One-Stop Shop, which is based in Sandton. So we work with your private sector as well as multilateral institutions like your World Bank, your banks, DBSA, African Bank. We also work with national government agencies. We also work with local government, which is your municipalities like your City of Joburg, as well as your provincial government agencies within Gauteng. I mentioned it earlier on an example of businesses that we've worked with, that we've facilitated. So you'd look at the likes of Baldwin Properties, we've worked with Heineken, we've worked with Ford, we've worked with Amazon, Liquid Gold, we've worked with Stain City QK. There's quite a lot. This is just a detail, just a few snapshots. I mean, a snapshot of the businesses that we've worked with. Also, sometimes we get, some of these businesses do come to us and say, we've got an ESD budget, we want to be partnered up with smaller businesses for our ESD spend. We do like to have contacts with the relevant businesses. I'm sure Abu will be able to share, whoever is in the room, so that we can get to understand if they say to us, okay, we want to do our ESD spend, we're quite big, but we also want to partner up on certain initiatives, then it's easier for us to say, okay, we can link you up with these enterprises that are doing this and that. And with that being said, thank you so much. I've got my details there. If you would like for us to have a conversation, but I'm also here in the session to talk and to get to understand what you do, but also post this. I do encourage, if you want to get more or you want to be linked with one of our team members, you can send me an email, then I could just arrange a Teams meeting with one of the team members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asi, for such a very detailed presentation that highlights the support that is available from province. We would have also loved to highlight the offerings at national, but unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, we were not able to get the DTIC and Productivity SA in today's session, but we do have their presentations that we will share with everyone in the room. What I wanted to highlight from the presentation that Asi gave, if you look at the work that she elaborated on, you can tell that the heart of what we are doing as DED, as the province, as national, or as government, business is at the heart of the work that we are doing. And we understand if businesses thrive, then you are obviously going to have a positive impact on our economy. You are going to have a positive impact in terms of job creation, in terms of alleviation of poverty, as well as addressing the inequality challenges that we have in our country. So what we are trying to say through this engagement is that we care about making sure that we create that enabling environment for your businesses to thrive. And that's why she spoke about creating the ease of doing business. Again, I'll take you back to the reason why we are here. We are here to listen. We are here to connect. We are here to also collaborate in terms of co-creation of solutions to make sure that we improve our economy. With that said, I am going to request one of our colleagues, Lerato Makopo. She's from Group Finance Revenue Shared Service, who is going to give us a presentation on the support that is available for businesses that are struggling with the debt relief program. I'm not sure if she has joined us or he or she has joined us. I'm going to ask that you come forward, ma'am, so that everyone can see you. Can we give her a round of applause as she comes forward?
Oh, can I stand here?
Whichever you are comfortable with.
Okay, I'm comfortable sitting down. Hi everyone, my name is Lerato Makopo and I'm from the Revenue Shared Services Center. I'm here on behalf of my manager, which is Gavin Machete, today what I'm going to present is the debt relief program that was recently launched on the 1st of November. It is going to run up until the 31st of October 2026. So I'll just give you a brief introduction and background on mainly what it is about. So basically the city of Joburg has launched this 4th phase of its debt relief program. And as I've stated, this is the duration, which is the 1st of November this month up until next year. This initiative is to lessen the growing burden of the municipal debt that our people are under, as well as companies. The extensive consultation with the municipal-owned entities, property and revenue teams have ensured that the program is technically and sound, legal, compliant, and operationally feasible. It also forms part of the city's broader commitment to the responsible revenue management, as well as the financial inclusion and sustainable service delivery, ensuring that no customer is left behind while the city's main financially is stable. This program is not just a relief initiative, it is a renewal contract between the city and its residents, promoting fairness, accountability, and the shared responsibility. So we are trying to make sure that people can get back into their good books when it comes to their accounts with the city of Joburg, while we are also trying to somewhat generate revenue for the city. The purpose for the program, it is to support the over-indebted customers. It is to enhance revenue collection and the financial stability. It is to ensure that relief is based on accurate data, as well as it is to promote the responsible services of use, encourage payment discipline and accountability, as well as to protect the vulnerable residents. So this is the main purpose for the program that we are running currently. So we do have a qualifying criteria, as you can see, on who are the people that can actually apply for this program. This will now be our pensioners as well as our ESP beneficiaries. These are the people that are, when I'm saying ESP beneficiary, this is part of also of our other benefits that we have as a city in order to assist those indigent customers that we've already came across. So as I'm saying, this is in addition to what we already have to assist the people, right? So as well as the residential customers, now we are talking about all the people who are in the income level. They can also apply for this program, as well as the large businesses, as well as the small businesses, faith-based organizations, NPOs, old age homes, orphanages, and body corporates. We do private schools, but not government schools. This also excludes any city employee that's within an arrangement with us already. Also, the interest and is to also to the fee. There's a fee that will be waived during the qualifying criteria that we will be looking at. So just to take you a little bit back, when it comes to our pensioners as well as our ESP beneficiaries, they will be getting up to 100% write off their debt. Now, these are the people that are already in our system, as I've mentioned, that we know that they are not able to make up these payments. But obviously the committee will have to look into it, because there will be a committee that is running this criteria in order to give allowance to these debt offs. So as well as the people that are working, they have the possibility of getting up to 50% write off, as well as the businesses. But it doesn't mean necessarily that you will get automatic. It will also be dependent on the application and the documentation that will be given to us. Then that will determine how much will be taken off the person's debt. But this debt also comes with something that is called acknowledgement of debt that has to be maintained. So With our pensioners, it does happen that when we are saying 100%, we are not talking about the amount that is showing. So it will go according to the percentage. So if we are saying to you, we're taking off 60%, the 40% the person would then have to get into an arrangement that they have to make sure that they maintain for that duration. So there are different types of levels in terms of these arrangements according to the categories and the people that would have applied. So with the pensioners rebate and the ESP people, it will be up to 36 months, whereas with people that are working, it will be up to 12 to 24 months, as well as with companies, then we also give them 6 to 12 months to make sure that they pay the debt that is the balance of the debt that is there. So I've touched kind of on what I'm about to speak about. So we do have conditions. All these, the properties that will be given the debt off cannot exceed an amount of 2.5 million. So for instance, if a person has probably more than one property, for as long as those properties are not beyond the 2.5 million, they can also register. So for example, you have two properties, in different places obviously. So both your properties, one is 1 million, maybe another 600,000, they will qualify. You can apply for both of them, just to be clear. But as long as it doesn't exceed this amount. As well as you need to be the owner of the property, and the property must be used for residential purposes. So that is, one of the main things. As well as with regards to the organizations, the small businesses, NPOs, etc., we do look for 3 years of the audited financials, as well as the 6 months of bank statements. These does not exceed the annual turnover of 3 million. The account compliance meters must be normalized. So a person, if they've bypassed their meter, those are the things that they're going to look at. So it shouldn't be a meter that has been tampered with. I have given you the repayment terms on how these are going to be used. Just a disclaimer, the CT reserves the right to conduct a full financial assessment of the applicants. So as I said, we do have the right to, even if a person applies and they say to us that no, everything of mine is accordingly, we do have the right to verify this at a later stage as well. So like I've just mentioned, the non-compliance will then now be any post-relief non-compliance, meaning if the meter has been tampered with, if a person has previously applied for the debt rehab, because we used to have a program that was called debt rehabilitation, as now we've changed it to debt relief, because now the conditions are no longer the same, and that's why the change of name. As well as if the property is sold during the program, any outstanding balance will be due in line with the city's clearance processes, because obviously we don't currently have a time frame of when the debt will be off. So if you sell the property, that means you can't get the benefit. As well as if the property use is not aligned with the zoning, the property will not qualify for the consideration and penalties will be imposed. Any misinformation will also result in reinstatement of the debt relief with immediate termination of the services. So basically, as I've mentioned, that you need to get into an AOD if you don't maintain, and also if you are not a complying customer who is currently paying or trying to at least meet up with the monthly payments, this might disqualify you. As well as during this duration, there will be a team that continuously checks on the people who are in these AODs. You miss payments, you decide no longer to pay, that debt that was written off will be reinstated at the end of the program or at the end of the term that you have been assigned during your AODs. As I've mentioned, it is from the 1st of November up until the 31st of October next year. These are the required documents that we need. Anybody who needs to apply can go to any of our offices that I will mention, and then they will also get those forms, and all the requirements that you are seeing will be clearly stated to them. The application forms that we do have currently, it's the city's website that can be used. The requested regional emails. We also have a regional email, so depending on where a person stays, A, B, C, D, they can, right now we are in D, they can apply via that and make sure all they need to do is check out what is required and fill up all of that, or go to any of the city's nearest customer service centers. There will be verifications with regards to these applications. As you can see there, the applicant must make sure that the forms are fully signed and dated, as well as all the required supporting documents as per the category must be attached. We are going to verify with the deeds office and the city's valuation role to make sure that you are the owner of that property, because just to put it out there, we are not dealing with anyone who has letter of authority or the executorship letters for now. But what we do for those type of people, they can come get the application forms, but we will give them a form that is called the late deceased form. So that late deceased form is to keep you in the city's data. So while the program is running, because there will be continuous changes at some point or additions to it, then that is when maybe they might be considered in the later stage. But currently, as I've said, we are only dealing with owners. As well as once the verified applicants receive a written confirmation, they must sign an acknowledgement of debt, as I've said, and the approved accounts will be monitored for compliance. And if any of that there's going to be any issues regarding that going forward, as I've said, we will reinstate fully the debt that was written off. As an initiative to make the public know about this, there have been some planned engagements that have started, where our communication departments have released some social media statements, the press, we've used the electronic media, the SMS forums, the SCSCs, as well as posters, meaning our customer service centers, as well as the speaker's office via the councillors' packs, forums, community-based meetings. These are the ongoing things that are taking place currently, as well as the CRAM has also done ward governance, as well as the stakeholder teams. As of next year, from January to February, we will try to engage people by going to malls, having our employees in all these centers, just to get the word out there, because somehow people do miss this information. As well as the physical and online sessions have also been given and are still continuous and ongoing. We've had these two physical online sessions that took place on the 6th, on the 12th, at these two places. They did take place. Also, sorry about that. I just want to say that with regards to this program, we are stressing the fact that customers must make it an importance to come to our offices to get a more informed information regarding it, instead of just using over the, so basically this is where it ends, and this is what the city is doing to also assist with our customers. But other than this, I have said before, we do have other programs that have been continuous. This is just in addition to trying to make sure that everyone is in one accord. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that elaborate presentation. Larato, please don't go away. There's still questions and answers. And I think this is the part that we have all been waiting for. Like I've been saying throughout the program, we are here to listen, we are here to learn, as well as co-create solutions together with yourselves. I'm going to open the platform for questions and answers. You can ask any one of the presenters and they will respond. Maybe for the first round, let us have three hands max, and then we'll give our presenters an opportunity to respond. Any takers? There's one over there, the gentleman over there. Anyone else? All right, I don't see any other hands. Maybe there's a hand over there. That will be number 2. let's take those two questions as our first round.
Good morning.
Still morning.
Good afternoon. Maybe the point of departure for my end.
Sorry, can you please introduce yourself so that we know where you are coming from?
Oh, my name is Masite. One of the business owners within the refugee.
That's fine, you can go ahead. Yes.
Thank you so much. I was saying maybe as a point of departure from my end, definitely to say thank you for this dialogue and thank you for coming to the ground to just listen to some of the challenges that we as business people are experiencing on the ground, right? From my observation, the challenge that I experienced or I'm still experiencing when it comes to my business within that region is I would say the ownership around the government properties. So maybe just to expand further on that, is that this government property that I found was sitting there being vandalized, not working, right? Then I met some gentleman who said he's the owner of that property. Well, he showed me some title deed, which had his name and detail of that property. So I was like, okay, cool. From that document, it does look like you're the owner of the property. So I then invested my money in fixing that property. Like I said, it was vandalized. I fixed the property and everything. But then, as time went by, I did research, and I found that, that gentleman that claims to be the owner of the property is actually not the owner. He had a lease agreement with the government some odd years ago, right? And now that property, as I talk to you, owes the municipality over 250,000. And from my side, I've never missed any rent payment to this gentleman, right? So you see now, I'm running the risk of my business being closed because I'm paying someone who's charging the money, and the money is meant to actually go to the municipality, you understand? So maybe a piece of advice from my side, something that you guys can implement from the rotation strategy. It would be nice if you can just go back, check all the leads that you gave to people some odd years ago, check all those leads, check those leads, and then check if those properties are still in use. And then if they are not, maybe you can cancel all those old leads and then publish those properties somewhere where we can go and access. There's a platform, there's a website where we can go and see all the available properties that we can, buy, rent directly from the municipality, so that, we don't find ourselves in a situation that I found myself in where I'm paying someone who's not even paying the municipality. So, yeah. So definitely if you guys can look into the ownership of these buildings by the municipality, I think that will definitely be a great profit strategy or rotation strategy to many business people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Noted. Can we move to the lady over there? The same button. The same button that you pressed to speak. Can you assist him, please? But can we move to the lady over there in the meantime?
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Nthabiseng Chobedi. I am a Soweto resident. I'm a business owner in Soweto. And I also sit on a number of steering committees, development steering committees in the community. And thank you for the invite from economic development for us to be here. I'm representing the Soweto Investment Conference, and we are very happy that this session took place, because what we are identifying is that in Soweto we do have a number of community-based assets. A lot of entities that are flying below the radar, but they are doing a lot of good work, but they are not able to be investment ready because they are not capacitated in terms of institutional arrangements and all sorts of training. So it would be great to partner with the city to have a register of these entities so that we can be able to see how we can develop them, because they have high potential of job creation and economic growth. But because of the way that they are operating, they're unable to invite investment. So we are working with organizations to make them investment ready. And we would also like to, to have a working relationship with the city on how we move these, because there's a lot of incubation programs in Soweto. And with a population of 2.5 million people, we can never have enough. And a lot of the people are flying below the radar, but they are doing amazing work. Right now, we are working with the Jabavu, the councillor has left, but we're working with the Jabavu Heritage Precinct. That's what the community calls it, though it is not officially recognized as such. It includes Credo Mutua Cultural Village, the June 16 Memorial Acre, and other entities around there, which are very good in terms of creating job creation, but because we're not activating them. And then we also have the Moroka Park Precinct, which includes Regina Mundi and so forth, but it is also very quiet because it's not being activated. The community is really trying. They're forming associations. We are assisting them with setting up institutional capacity, but we can only do so much. And the city, we are very happy as the investment conference that the city is partnering up with us, and we hope that as Soweto residents, this will make a change, because truly we have a huge issue of unemployment. We have a huge issue of businesses that don't survive beyond 6 months. I myself tried a restaurant, besides other businesses that I do. I know how tough it is. I had to close it down because the economy is very bad. And disposable income is practically non-existent anymore. So we are happy to be here, and I'm sending out an invite to everybody to attend the Soweto Investment Conference next week. I will hopefully get official contacts, and then we can send the invitations. It's happening on the 25th and 26th, which is Wednesday and Thursday. And we are glad that the mayor has confirmed that he will be giving the keynote address, and we hope that as stakeholders we can really grow this conference, because as the community we began in, because we saw that we do have Invest South Africa, we do have Invest Gauteng South Africa, we do have Invest Joburg, and we thought that Soweto also needs a platform where we could tap into the bigger investment promotion. Thank you so much.
Thank you for those questions. I'm going to ask our colleagues, our presenters, anyone that wants to answer the questions in no particular order, and then I'll also come in. So maybe let's start with the first one. Any takers? Okay.
Thank you, Chair, for the session. I think what David Fistwell was speaking to, it's more of a business research that one needs to do. Because of under the circumstances, he did everything right, but missed that part of the investigation part. And that part becomes a critical point in the life of a business, where now he has done his part, but his business stands to fail because of that little gap. That once you start going into any property that you are not sure of its whereabouts, please confirm it with the deeds office. And even so, our revenue department is able to assist you with that. Any property, it might be a personal property that you're buying from someone, but let us make sure that we have those confirmations. But equally, maybe revenue, I think this is a matter that you need to come and have an engagement with our revenue department, because of if there's anything that's possible for you not to be penalized for what this other person is doing fraudulently, your business must not be penalized for that. Maybe let's have that engagement, come to the office, have that discussion, and I think it can be a bit easier for settling that matter before the business now collapses. Thanks.
I think I understand where you're coming from, and it pains me. Actually, this morning I was with the group head of Rates and Taxes. What I'm going to do, I'm going to call her now. I mean, if we are to have a break, and then you talk to her about that, so that we get to, because I think this forum needs to address the issues that are raised here, so that we start having confidence in this forum, so that the next time there is a meeting, everyone is willing to come. So because the issues that are being raised are being addressed. So I'll do that right now during the break time. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Do you want to also respond?
Yeah.
Please go ahead. Thank you so much. I think we are getting to the heart of the reason why we're here, and that's why earlier on I sound like a broken record, but it's very important for us to assist you as businesses, especially with the issues that you are experiencing. So one of the reasons, or one of our objectives for this session today, was so that we unblock and we address some of the issues on the ground, and that is why the colleagues are here. So we will attend to that issue, as Papedi has mentioned during the break. Let's talk and let's see how best we can assist you. I do agree with my colleague as well. JPC, as the custodians of all the properties, they play a very critical role in ensuring that the public as well as businesses are well informed as far as the properties that they are managing, so that you don't find yourself in a situation where you are taken advantage of. We are going to convey the message to them, and we will try and get them on board when we convene again for the next session. But maybe just to also add on their side, I know there's an exercise that they are meant to be doing. You can correct me, Papedi. There's an exercise that they are doing where they are conducting an audit, as you have mentioned, of all the city properties, so that we can see which properties are being effectively used, as well as the ones that are not currently operational, so that we can advertise it and make sure that they are fully utilized. So I would also, during that conversation, we'll also try and connect you with JPC, so that you can see which other buildings or properties are available that you can also look into utilizing. Can we then move on to the next question? Any takers to respond? Yes, yeah, it was a comment. I think on our side in Tabiseng, we are already engaging as the department. What we will then explore is maybe formalizing our partnership, as you have requested, so that we can identify areas of collaboration that will then guide us in terms of how best to support you. We have already had our discussion with regards to the upcoming conference, and that is why you're also here, so that after this session we can then sit and discuss how best to support you. But I think what we also want to highlight as the department is that we are open to working with organizations such as yourselves, as well as any other businesses that are in the area, so that we can revive and revitalize the economy of the region. The councillor, as well as the office of the RD, has also mentioned that Soweto has so many or a lot of potential, and I think we are not fully optimizing the potential that Soweto has. Our colleagues from EDF are not here, but they are the ones that are responsible for the township economy. I think now there's a big focus on the township economy because we are slowly realizing the importance and the contribution that the township economy is actually making to our country. So it will be an error for us if we don't give you the necessary support that is required, and we'll make sure that we connect you with all the relevant partners that we have in our ambit. As we highlighted throughout the session, it doesn't end in the city, but it goes as far as province, it goes as far as national, as well as abroad. Some of our partners are not necessarily domestic, so we'll make sure that we handhold you and we facilitate some of those discussions. I want to check if there's any other hands so that we can take our second round. Let me recognize the hand of the gentleman with the red shirt, and then we'll come to you in that order. Are you unable to press so that we can also capture for the online audience? Oh, it's not working. Can we have a roving mic, please? Oh, there we go.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Kennedy Magara. The reason why I'm here is because I'm representing two spaces of business. Another one is the security sector, and the other one is investment in the construction sector. Now the question would be, I've listened attentively to the presentation, especially where we spoke about weaknesses and strengths. Some of the weaknesses is safety and security concern. All what we try to do, if it is not properly secured, if there's no security, there won't be any investment. Investors will run away. But not yet among the presentations where we were emphasizing on protecting and securing the investment that we're trying to make into the city. The reason why I'm saying that is the question that how do we protect the investment that comes to us? Are there any systems in place? This question is informed by the recent problems where you would find that there would be community members who would be up in arms against an investor coming to an area. They would be saying, because we live here, we deserve this, we deserve this. Sometimes without even following the proper business processes. That's by virtue of you being born and staying in a place where investment comes. To most, that necessarily gives them the right to be in control of that investment. As a result, investors won't want to put their money and invest in an unstable place. So as the city, what are we doing? So as the security task, we do have solutions to that because that is our space. We've been in that space for long. We've been in that space in a cluster together with the South African police services, attended to those cases. Recently, there's a decision by some of the departments in government. That decision will, in the very near future, strengthen the existence of the people in the space of security, private security. Now they've taken a route of insourcing security. So there was a program that we saw as the security companies that assisted even small companies. Like 4 months, 3 months. So we would rotate and share in the economy of the department. But now if they are insourcing, a lot of security companies, a lot of security businesses within the wards would be out of business. So So that is also a challenge that we are facing. Now, back to the question of how do we protect investors. I am because of an investment that came to wanted to do. There was a time when the investor had to take a decision that was detrimental to the survival of the business in order to accommodate the challenges that he faced. Remember, the decision to invest is a noble decision. Invest there, investment will create job opportunities. It's one of the weaknesses I've seen the franchise as the weaknesses that because of lack of investment, job creation is inadequate. There's less job creation, which is a challenge to this meeting. The purpose of this meeting, we want to try and remedy that. Then this investor at one point thought of leaving. So there were a lot of interventions to persuade him not to leave. And I want to thank the office that is before us in trying hard to do that. But then the problem still remains. There are also other developments in the world, and the very same problem came to other developers. For as long as we don't give it attention, think about that weakness, their safety and security, which might hinder development and investment and defeat the purpose of what we are here. And we try and give it more attention. Then the movement, in terms of the criteria of debt relief, I say that the debt must be at least more than 36 months forward for a large business to qualify for the 50% after satisfying the requirement of the documents that you. I'm not sure what informed the decision for 36 months. What if there's a concern now? Because surely some of the businesses, if they cannot keep up with the debt up until for 36 months, you would have maybe cut services and they will be struggling to debt. Some of them won't last 36 months. And I don't think we will to offer now because you want to collect revenue. Lesson going on for 36 months, period of 36 months. So what informs that? An AR 36 months. I got 36 months. What if I come here and say, this follow to easy, but because of some reason, we go to Spatala for 10 months, and I'm coming forward, it will put and a relief to yourselves before you run out of it.
So much. The next question.
We have a business that is to aspiring associate. So my question, more than comment and advice, it will be one around the red tape as a JPC. Basically was scanned. And I think the red tape as a JPC does allow us to be vulnerable to scammers because Tina Corner see nature with the JPC from 2021, we still know where we can. I can give you out the names of which we ended up dealing with, and still there's no fence there. There's lots of land here in Soweto that's underutilized or not at all. They are just camping sites. We are willing to make them into we are willing to change them into making business or any type of space. But when we do so, then HAPC is not responding and they're not going anywhere. Councillor did talk about routine. Please, we must invest. But how do we invest if we don't have that? And then the other thing is the energy. We have been told routine. We no longer have load shedding, but now we have load reduction. And load reduction is only at townships. In the suburbs, there's no load touch. And when that happens, our businesses will be scarcity. We have food, which is which goes there. So that's Selma. And the other thing, we maybe we decide which department we look at this, and that I think it is important that we become very intentional about what we do for our townships, especially if we look at the regional team. Maybe we should have a dedicated team for businesses. The person that we go to would say, yes, listen, we are from the region D, so where to, and these are the problems, or this is what we need, or maybe accompany you to JPC, accompany you to your rates and taxes. That person, because Lesotho is huge, and the amount of money, I mean, the study that was done by Costa to your time ago, which informed that showed, you would see there's lots of money that is leaving Soweto going to the sentence, northern suburbs and all those places. But what are we doing, Tina, to make sure that all that money is kept? You may think about folks back, who see the rand rotate there 14 times. You cannot rotate here. Because you don't have certain services or shops that will make us to pay or buy in the area. We have to be intentional. Maybe it can be a 3-square-meter office, but for region D, where we go and say, listen, accompany me to JPC, accompany me to this. This is what we are doing. And those things, we will then grow. We want to grow. We want to do businesses in our land. But somewhere I'm sure that the city is famous. So, that was my 2 cents.
Thank you so much for those questions. We do understand your frustrations. I'm going to allow colleagues to also respond. Let's start with the first one.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Especially looking at your security issue. You know, as we were developing the strategy, one executive from the city, there was one question that we would ask. If you were the city manager, what would you do? So that group executive said, I'll take all the resources and put them into security. That's where the biggest problem is. We also spoke to JMPD, another representative from JMPD, and we asked him, what are some of the challenges that you experience? He said, no, for each and every region, we've got 25 JMPD officers, so they are very inadequate, so security is compromised. So what you are raising is extremely important. That's why if you look at the strategic framework, we have safety and security as an enabler of investment. So when we talk about your enabler, we are basically saying this is looking at the fundamentals and also allowing for attraction of investment through safety and security, and also addressing issues of crime. So it's a very important issue. It is also captured in the IDP, where they are basically talking about an integrated security system within the city. I think the issue is now we went beyond the development of the strategy and came up with an implementation plan where we will hold different departments accountable. So we're basically saying for security, we'll have 5-6 departments that will be responsible for the city. If it doesn't happen, then there will be account. So I think that's very important. That is why it's one issue that we really focused on within the economic growth strategy. I think, and coming back to your inputs, especially in terms of how do we assist, there is a lot of potential within Region D, but the problem is nothing is coming forth. So I think maybe in the next presentation, I have to maybe do a presentation of the economic growth strategy, looking at what should be provided for Region D. I know some of the recommendation would be your retail infrastructure linked to taxi hubs, but I think we should take it further, because you are staying in Region D, and then what are some of the linkages that we can be able to exploit to try and identify those multipliers. I think it's very important, because a strategy will only be at a bit of a higher level. If it was a regional plan, it would have attended to the nitty-gritties. So let's do that, so that it becomes a iterative process to refine the because we had a discussion with some of the funders. They were ready to fund retail infrastructure. Obviously, it will be combined with other infrastructure development programs. So maybe let's do that, and also try to bring on board, if it's possible, those potential funders, so that they can highlight what will be required for a program to be funded. I know the minimum requirement for a program to be funded is 250 million. So if you come up with a program that makes sense, feasibility, you know how it works, that is at minimum 250 million, then we'll be able to look at. So when we look at development, let's look at it from a universal point of view, to say let's not look at bits and pieces. Let's look at programs that focus on impact and effectiveness. Thank you.
Do you also want to come in? You can go ahead.
Thanks, Chair. I think I could not want to miss this one because of what Mr. Ifni was speaking to, was the issue of protection of investment. And that's one of our challenges in Soweto, in terms of the investment that we already have in the space does not get to finish projects. And simply because of there is serious resistance from business people, the community, and anyone and everyone who has an interest into all of it. Maybe as the city, this is the type of engagement that we need to have your after meetings with, but that's why I'm going to say that what is it that strategy that we are talking of that can help us as the city, even as the community general, to show that we won't have issues of these protests that are taking place unnecessarily so. Some of these protests are instigated by business people themselves. When they're not happy, they're not interests that are community-based. So these are things that we need to speak to. So we create a blanket approach to say that you do this is what happens to you. Once we can have that format in place and in practice, even if it can be slow, but at some point it will grow traction, and we'll ensure that all these businesses that come to Soweto, they feel safe to be in that space. Most of them, we know that they feel that they are taking risk by giving their money into Soweto. And we want to quell that notion of saying that it's a risk. We want to give them the opportunity to see it as an opportunity to grow their businesses into that space. So I think this is important that we have your after meeting with Bakatswamu Kennedy. So as we speak to that and ring-fence it correctly for an approach that will be used in the region. And it might even be taken out of the region to other spaces.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Before I allow you, Lerato, to come in, I just wanted to weigh in as well, just to add on to what colleagues have already alluded to. I'm just going to share an experience that we have as the department with some of the regions. What we've realized is that because of that same challenge that you have highlighted, there is what we call city improvement districts. These are business communities that come together to say we are going to partner with government to make sure that we secure the investments that we have in this specific region. In one of the regions, because they have managed to accumulate enough funds, they were able to donate a security vehicle for the city to say, this is additional capacity that we are giving you as businesses in the city, in a particular area, to assist the city in making sure that we secure and we take care of our property and we take care of our assets. So this could also be another solution that you can look into. I know as businesses, especially if you are invested in a particular area, you tend to talk to one another. And I'm sure this challenge is not only affecting your business, there are other businesses that are also affected. So maybe this is another solution that you can look into. As businesses, you can come together. I'm not sure if you already have any business associations, any formalized organizations in those regions to say we are coming together to make sure that we advocate as businesses that are invested in a particular region. It can be a ward, it can be a precinct, but we want to advocate for our area where we are located, so that when we speak to the city, we are able to then speak with one voice. If you are coming together to say we have noticed a pattern when we implement our investments, these are the challenges, and it not only affects myself as a business, but these are the 20 other businesses that are also affected, then that case will hold a lot of water when you speak to us as the city, and we are also able to then partner with you in terms of the co-creation of solutions. So I wanted to highlight that. And then the other point is the importance of collaboration, and I think this speaks to us as colleagues. I appreciate the fact that the case that you were responding to, you mentioned that there were colleagues from the city that also assisted to intervene so that the investment does not leave. And I think these are the kind of cases that we are also interested in as the Department of Economic Development. Hence, I'm taking it back to my colleagues to say these are the kind of projects that we need to work together to make sure that we retain our businesses and we can see how best to come up with solutions. So I think you are also challenging us as colleagues to make sure that we are extending the scope so that it's not only, or the responsibility does not only lie with one person, because there's a lot of interdependencies in the work that we are doing. But again, going back to the reason why we are here, we are also in a way trying to open those doors of communication, even for us as officials. Unfortunately, our other colleagues from other departments, you mentioned JPC, they are also supposed to be here because they are critical to creating that enabling environment for businesses to grow. So this is our first step at interacting with businesses, and that's why I've been repeating myself to say we are here to listen, we are here to learn, but also to co-create solutions with yourselves so that we can help to improve and realize the opportunity that we are talking about. We can't always say Soweto is full of opportunities, yet we are not realizing those opportunities. And that's the reason why we are here. This is not our last engagement, but the first of many engagements to come. So as you are going back to your businesses, reflect on what has been presented by ourselves and our colleagues and identify those areas that you think we can partner in order to create a conducive environment for yourselves as business to thrive. I just wanted to add those 2 points, but let me hand over to you to respond to the question on the debt relief.
Okay, just for clarity, maybe I need to understand, are you saying that we should consider the fact of lessening the debt not more than 36 months? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, because the slide that we have lighted there, it says, especially on larger businesses.
Yes.
The criteria is that the debt should be 36 months.
We are writing off the debt for 36 months or more. That's what basically. 50%. Yes.
50% will be comparable, especially that is carrying all the factors that we consider. So now, what if the debt is 10 months old, not yet 36 months? We also consider the writing, that relief.
Okay. Okay, remember, we did state that the reason for the program is to try to assist. So hence the reason they chose 36 months. So anything beyond lesser, you can always get into a standard AOD that is there. But that won't obviously have this benefit. So we are just coming in to say, we can see that you have 2 million. We are willing to say anything beyond the 36 months, we will assist you in getting back into a commitment with us. So that is the reason why they chose the 36 months, in my assumption, because there is a committee that was doing the criteria. But I hear you, but it's going to be a tricky one because this was something that, because remember, we had other debt rehabs before, as I've stated. They didn't work for the city. We came, we said we are assisting, and people came for that and pulled away, and we're still not generating money. And the reason we have to generate this money is to make sure that these services continue to take place. And for that to continue to take place, there should be funds for that. So that is the reason we are coming in to say, beyond 36 months, we will assist you with 50%. The remainder of that balance, we will get into this agreement with you on your terms, but obviously in a 1 year period, because you are a business. So obviously that is different from the other people that are within this criteria thingy. So I hope it makes you understand why the 36 months. Thank you.
Okay, I think you also spoke about load shedding and yeah, I think I think we need to get guys from City Power. However, in our strategy, we tried to cover most of the issues because we are working now with develop the funders. Was a big program that are funding that are assessing the programs that have been sent from the city to cover those kind of issues. So now the issue is we cannot determine which programs the funders will fund. They will use their own eligibility criteria to fund programs. But most of the programs, as you would know, most of the international funders, they are looking at your solar, they are looking at your waste to energy. So those are the kind of programs that we are working on because we know and understand this is one of the biggest challenges, especially in terms of you as an enabler for economic development. So I think the city is working very hard, but the biggest problem is more about talking about the work that we are doing. So is one other issue that was raised when we were doing a stakeholder engagement. Some of the CEOs were saying there's a lot that has been done, but we are not talking about it. So I think we will take you into confidence, especially in terms of the selected programs that will be ready for funding going forward. Thank you.
Were you responding to the second question? No, I'm asking who were you responding to?
I was responding, yeah.
Okay. Anyone wants to respond before I come in also? The second question.
Yes. Thanks, Chair. What the government has raised, end of the day comes our baby to carry as the city. Because of once he says that he's engaged in JPC from 2001.
2021.
Sorry about that. Yeah, 2021. Then that becomes our baby. Because of the candidate when the very business community is trying to do right and initiating this structure. And I think also the request that is made is clear to us. It's an issue of how do we customize it to ensure that at least it speaks to their needs as the business community of so to ensure that at least they tap very well into the space without us having to become the blockages or the stumbling blocks in that situation. I want to speak to partly the issue of load reduction as you spoke to it in that difficulty. Load reduction, surely, we all understand, and that's a truth that was said that it's happening in Sophie to certain spaces out there where it's a bit affluent, it's not taking place. It's all because of part of it. We are not paying for the resources that we are using. up until we acknowledge that and play our part, you see myself as calm. I'm expected to ensure that there is service delivery. But how do I ensure that there is service delivery if there is no money to ensure that whatever resources needed to make it a point that that portal is closed? That is the challenge. So when we want business to also come into the space, it's because of we know the input that we bring into the coffers of the city. We know how much contribution we do in terms of social responsibilities. We want you to come and comply, and as also Dr. was saying, let's not stay away from the city because of we feel that there is a gap between myself and the city. Let's have those engagements. They might not be favoring you, but at the end of the day, once there's those discussions, at least there will be an agreement on how to go about that situation. Because if once you stay away, we come and cut off the electricity, we cut off water and all of those things, then the business dies. Not only are you suffering, but equally the city is having a loss into that space. So let's have this open policy of saying that even if I've wronged the city, let me go and speak to the city. That will at least assist us to know where you are and how do we assist you to go forward. Thanks, Chair.
Yeah, I think the last point. Okay, this is maybe I can say this is my personal point of view, because if you look at what is happening within the landscape of economic growth, we've got a lot of retail as opposed to industrial parks. I think that's where one of the biggest problems is emanating from. Because I'm sure most of you heard Josienzo talking about the integrated resource plan, where the focus will be on the small modular reactors that can be able to power industrial parks. We know they're expensive, and that technology originates in South Africa, and they almost sold it. So those are the kind of things when we are crafting programs for investment, that's where we should be looking at, because that's where the future is going. So I just wanted to indicate that whenever we try to come up with interventions that would assist Soweto, we must just think big and throw it out there, without compromising objective to feasibility.
Thank you so much. What I'm also picking up from this is the importance of having our other colleagues present. So as a action on our end, we are going to request JPC to make a presentation at the next session. Obviously, it will be sometime next year. And I think what we are going to ask them to highlight is what, I can't remember who was speaking about a list. I think it was Buhlene. Yes, we are going to ask them to just make that information publicly available for them to highlight what is the necessary process that you need to follow if you want to lease, if you want to buy, and all of that, so that the information then becomes available to yourselves as businesses, but also transparent at the same time. I'm also picking up a need for City Power to join the list of presenters at the next session, and I think more so for them to get a better appreciation of the impact that the load reduction has on businesses. For them, as City Power, maybe their understanding might not necessarily be the same as yourselves as businesses, because they are not necessarily feeling the impact of all of that. So what we're going to do, we'll ask them to form part of the next session so that you can have this dialogue. Let them understand the extent of their actions, and maybe we can also help to come up with some sort of solutions that can then assist. And then the third presenter, it will still be the department. Also, like you have mentioned, Papedi, we need to then go deeper to say regionally. Remember in our presentation, we spoke about customizing so that our solutions then speaks to the regions. The solutions for Soweto will not be the solutions, will not be the same solutions as Region E, as an example. So it's very important for us to get a better appreciation of these pain points, so that even when we propose the solutions, then we come up with things that are going to speak to your environment. I'm not sure if there's okay, you are responding or asking questions? You are responding or a question? Okay, let's take the response and then we'll do a final round of questions. You're switching off.
I think when it comes to the road production,
Please speak to the mic.
when it comes to the road production, so Soweto is mostly powered by ESCOM, city power.
Okay.
So I think the relevant committee here will be ESCOM or city power.
Thanks
And
for
also,
that.
I think we touched on you need someone who's responsible just for Soweto, or you need a department that is responsible for Soweto when it comes to businesses. I think DET, we did have an opportunity center that's responsible for the small businesses in Soweto that was based in our economic zone, Soweto economic zone, and they were meant to relocate to here, to our offices here. I don't know how far that process is, but it's something that is on the pipeline. But the people that we are looking for, they are available. You can like contact them, they will come to the business, they come to you, and then they engage with you like right now. Thank you.
Thanks for that. So we can provide you contact details. I just forgot to respond to that point. What we are also trying to achieve with these engagements is to streamline our service delivery, especially for businesses. In our presentation, we spoke about the Investment Fast Tracking Committee, which comprises all the critical departments and entities to unlock projects when they are being implemented. What we are now trying to conceptualize is implementing something similar to an Investment Fast Tracking Committee that will then be dedicated for businesses that are already on the ground. So I think this is one of the action items that is coming out from this engagement, and we will be able to give you the relevant information once that steering committee has been finalized. And the reason why we want it like that is so that we can be quick in our response, so that we avoid knocking at different doors if your project is touching on multiple departments. So it's something that we are looking at in the pipeline, but in the meantime, you can speak to the Opportunity Center, or you can speak to ourselves as the Business Retention Directorate. Will then be able to handhold you while you are knocking at those doors. But what we're going to do after the session is take everyone's contact details, especially those that we said let's have an offline conversation, so that we can assist you in terms of implementation of those issues, or resolution rather of those issues. Can we then take our final round of questions? There was one hand. Is there any other takers? There's another hand at the back. And that will be it. Let's start with you, ma'am.
I would very much like to work closer to the department and with you guys saying, here you are, what we have on paper, society, market research or market analysis, your needs, because I got everything in sales club and then it's also so that's what I need in anything. And altogether, with you, because we different thing what you want, like we are all internal communities. That's why most of you guys have been saying when people come to investments, what are they going? Where do I think? Most of us there or we want to reach the communities. Most of the guys I know, just so much in pretenders. There's only one guy who's from Mozambique. I cannot do say I would have from Moscow. I have the like myself, if you have to ask me, space South Spain is like decided to have no place that I would say the local school. I said I think about 4 schools no we must start visiting. And there if you go there, you find different businesses that operate from good program. Now I propose that for you guys is to also, I don't know if it's doable, if you guys can do that. Also consult the Department in Infrastructure Development, because I understand most of the schools still handed over to them. So can they allow us or issue us with those letters, keep consent for use for the space, share this EVA's ongoing. Just like now the school just has to go to like the office owner. There is a community that's going to all school up to stay. We now the community since department for school. This is what we want to do most for so because there is going on, but we keep this community but not just department. Only that they came after 2 years after one another research we have to consent for use. Professor NPO also had consent for use data for finding. There's need that consent for use data for finding because this fires when I did apply for equipment and data. So the guys only came last week and have adopted the special the next best person to take over the school that department. But we were saying, what's happening to petition to you guys? So we gave them what to say, they should respond to the petitions, what to say. The community is also saying, schools is about us, the community members, but we keep the agreement within the other people who say, so that's very, that's the right thing. So I would very much also want you guys to engage with them. The right people who say, this is when I need to give those consent for use letters.
Thank you so much. Hello. Sorry, we can't hear you, sir. Much better.
Mine is always about the funding policies because these funding policies they don't speak to all black people in the majority of the times. And sometimes they find it difficult sitting with black people and addressing black people about black people problems because we all hear coming from the locals and township with all the problems. So we are always recycling the same stories, and when you try to engage with the government, you cannot drive policies that govern other people without consulting with those people. So first we must meet with the people so that we understand them, understand those people. So we found that scholars, they draft these policies without the consent of the sector. Then you have things that they govern the sector without consulting the sector. We always speak about the compliance. People they must comply so that they can get funding. I can tell you now, 99.9 of black youth outside they have compliance. But they don't get funding until that document expires. And then they have to go read to your stars, go to this, go to that. We have serious problems with government language because we cannot be speaking to deaf people
need is funding. We don't need this lecturing, all this nice language that we are hearing from the government officials or from the government itself. Black people, they need funding. They have businesses that are up and running. That's the only thing that is left that will elevate that black person and that black business. It's funding. So let's try other ways and means. First, let me say this, and I'm not trying to offend anybody. The city of Joburg, it's maybe if it's not 95, it's people that are not coming from Joburg. Maybe they are from Limpopo, where we have a serious problem, and then it becomes a tribal thing. I'm talking from the experience. Because we are talking with people who don't have interest of developing that township because they are not coming from that township. Is the city ready to deal with internal issues that affect the society? Or we're going to turn a blind eye in real problems that we know that they are never going to be solved because of certain issues. So if you are going to have 95% of people that are coming from other provinces, then we must sit and tell other people that from other provinces, we don't have a soccer field. You know, we need that shop so that we can start business. And then they take you from pillar to post because maybe they don't have enough interest. So, but for me, I think in the next meeting, probably, if it's possible to check, we need to get people that are drafting these funding policies so that we engage directly with people that designs the acts that governs us. Because if I'm going to be talking to a staff of government that didn't design these funding policies, then and that person, we find that person is defending something on ground of defending it's just we are translator from what is reading and it's telling me the same English. And then we as township people, this thing of being treated like we are illiterate or we need development for 40 years, they're going to be telling us, no, we don't need development, we are well developed. We need funding. So we can identify here in Sophie. In Joburg, you have people about another business, about they go and identify those people and give them funding and teach them how to use that funding. Let us say that let us for 8 years. Learn to apply and then it's new government that people. There is a mechanism that are really solving black people issues. Then we're gonna the next generation is gonna inherit problems that we're supposed to be fixing. Black people, they must see it's possible to get funding from the black government by seeing all these black people that are here being funded. If we have a Tumuntu or a business for 20 years without getting funding, then we have a problem with our government. Other issues are not that difficult. Getting funding, it shouldn't be an issue. We are not illiterate as township people. We do our proposals. We follow all the protocol that needs to follow. We know what compliance is, but still we are not getting funding. So we just tell a check. In the next meeting, those who are drafting the acts, those who are drafting the policies, they should be part of us so that we can engage in how did they control them or how did they come with these policies that have been suit township and rural people. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, can we respond? Both questions are very similar. So, yeah. Any takers?
Chair, I think more of these comments and requests, it's not things that we really want to have a discussion on, but rather it's things that we are given as Barcas to so as to should be able to say that these are the concerns that are in Region D, and let's see how best we engage on this question.
Thank you so much. I think you've summarized it well. Anyone? Okay, please come in.
Thank you very much, I think mine as well is just a comment. You know, it is one thing for colleagues to point or to raise concerns to government, in particular as officials. But I'm taking a simple example. Last year, after the declaration by the president of the Plaza Shop registrations, you know, 80% of the people who came to register Plaza shops here were foreigners. South Africans only came on the last day. And as you will have seen in the media, people were saying, we were asking for bribes, we were closing them outside, and then they had 40 days of registration. So I'm saying sometimes nice argument, let's also take part, you know, on the issue of spaces and properties. What we have done as the region is that currently we have requested from JPC an audit of all the municipal buildings in the region, including open spaces. Yeah? The region has taken a posture that if a person comes with a proposal that says there's an open space that has been currently used for illegal camping, I want to use it, we are supporting that. And also we are supporting the mayor's program of the 100 clean spots. You know. And yes, in general, I think that's ours. We know our issues with JPC and but we are saying if a person identifies a space, come to us as the region, we will assist to allocate to the space whilst we are dealing with the internal processes in the JPC. Because the cities have a lot of money to do illegal camping sites. Also, members, I know there's a program that they are doing currently in the middle. They are taking the open spaces that were illegally used for illegal camping, you know. Again, on the issue of schools, we've got a number of schools in Soweto that are now no longer being used. Unfortunately, those belong to the province, to the Department of Education. Maybe what we need to do with it is that we must engage the department, you know, to say in the schools that are no longer being used through new policy. How can we then identify working with yourselves and then allocate yourselves those schools and get the space there? You know, there's quite a number of good things that business people are not supposed to do. You know, but I think that the whole purpose of the session is that business and the city have to come together to find solutions to the problems that we have. You know, the issue as well of building currently is a problem that they have to live. You know, sometimes you find that the problem with your meter and your colleagues that you are not aware of. You know, there's a business that is happening, you know, manipulating their amounts. And in that center, there's no one who produces ice or that can consume them. But again, our policy, the city says, as long as it's in a private space, that's yours. You must find yourself a private plumber to identify the leak and that's it. But I'm saying, if we work together and try and find solutions to the challenges that we have, you know, currently what the difference that is in the country, tourists who want to come to Soweto, I believe us want to see when tourists come to Soweto, they call a good storage hotel when they leave, and not those storage reports.
Thank you so much. I think you've summarized it nicely. Maybe just to add, Budwam at the back, we did request the policymakers. If you heard in my last comment, I said unfortunately we could not get national because of unforeseen circumstances. In fact, they had confirmed, but the official that was supposed to come due to ill health could no longer make it. But it's well noted, and we'll make sure that they attend the next one. We'll also make sure that we share the presentation that they would have made with yourselves today. But going back to what the colleague mentioned, there is support available on the ground, especially for smaller businesses. You spoke about not being able to comply. That is why the opportunity centers are there. There's business advisors that are on the ground in all the 7 regions of our city, just to make sure that they offer that assistance that businesses like yourselves or the ones that you are working with requires. But what I've noticed is that there is an information gap. As the city, we have some of the tools that can assist, but it seems people are not aware for some reason. So I think as officials, we also need to look into it. Perhaps we need to do drives of sorts so that we make sure that we advertise the services that are available. With that said, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our session. I just want to do a quick recap and wrap up of our session. So what we're going to do as an outcome from today's session, we are going to consolidate all the issues. As I've mentioned, we do require the businesses or the representatives of businesses that have raised issues. There is going to be lunch that will be served. Can we then have that engagement so that we get your contact details, we get a consolidation of what those issues are so that we can assist you to resolve those issues. As already mentioned, we are going to assign a task team that will be dedicated to looking at resolution of your issues. We understand the frustration that you have as businesses, especially if we are not doing our part as the city. We can't expect you to leave your business to come and talk to us so that those issues are resolved. And that's why we are going to set up this task team to make sure that you continue with your issues. You don't even need to physically come to our offices. As long as you have our contact details, our emails, our phone numbers, you can just communicate with us and we'll make sure that it receives the necessary attention. The format will be similar to that of the fast tracking committee. I think after this, we will sit with our colleagues in the region so that we can try and identify a suitable mechanism to implement that. What we are going to do as well is identify quick wins, quick projects. What can we quickly achieve or implement together with yourselves? I think there's a few ideas that have already come from the fore, but we are not going to impose that. We'll be obviously guided by yourselves. And I think there's an opportunity for you as business to then suggest what are those quick wins that you think we can implement. An example, there was an issue around the security that was raised. If it's a quick win for us, then maybe let's try and identify solutions. There was a proposal of maybe looking at a similar format of a city improvement district. Maybe this is something that as business you can quickly gather with other businesses and formally organize yourself so that when you speak to us, then you speak to us in one voice. What we are going to do on our end is to strengthen our business retention and aftercare services. There is a need for us to have more engagements with yourselves outside this platform. And in saying that, we will also like to arrange site visits so that we can come and get a better feel and appreciation of where you are operating, just for us to understand what are those pay points. So we will be organizing those engagements with yourselves, enhance our communication. Like I'm saying, it seems some businesses are not necessarily aware of the offerings that we have as a department and as a city, and that is the reason why we felt this engagement is important. So we will make sure that on a regular basis we do communicate with yourselves. We do have your contact signed to the register, so we will be communicating with you. And very important is making sure that this engagement does not end here. There was a suggestion at the other engagement that we had in Region C that we should meet with businesses in this manner on a quarterly basis. And the same suggestion also came up from today's discussion. So we will communicate our next engagement so that we have this on a more regular basis. But in a nutshell, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, what we are trying to highlight is that we are open to doing business with the city. We are open to working together with yourselves as businesses to make sure that as the city, we create that conducive environment and we grow our city. I will then hand over to my brother to do the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Chairperson. Initiatives are done, and as they are done, they are all for our benefit as the city and yourself as the business community, but lastly, the people of Soweto. It becomes a plea that when we have had such an engagement, it should not be part of a talk shop. But instead that we put it to practice. One would say that people that attended today are very little in terms of number. But I can safely say that the engagements that took place here are fruitful. And they are engagements that, if used correctly, they can start helping us to build Soweto to become a better place. We are not here to hear things that always favor us, but we want to hear things that help us as the city of Johannesburg, how to improve ourselves to ensure better service delivery to yourself as a business community and the people of Soweto. We appreciate that you left your businesses, your engagements, and planned intentionally so to come and join us in this engagement. Let's make the next engagement to yield better results than what we had today. Colleagues from DED, we appreciate that now the department is saying, let's go to the people. These are the people. And if we do more, then we can be able to start seeing the change and seeing that GDP growth that we are speaking about, Dr. Bukobi. With that being said, we appreciate that you all attended, and hope again next time when we meet, it will be for better results. And speaking of progress that has been done from today up until the next meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. We have come to the end of our session. We are going to communicate with everyone as has already been alluded. Ntabiseng shared with us that there is a Soweto Investment Conference, so I hope to see all of you there. I will share the invite, Ntabiseng, with everyone. Thank you so much. There's lunch that's served outside. Thank you so much.